Hello friendly people of the internet. Just a short disclaimer before the actual video is gonna start. Um, Sadly, I left my audio equipment at home and currently not at home. This is why the audio quality of this video is gonna suck a little. I'm sorry for that. But at least it's not gonna suck as much as this guy does in skateboarding. So, since the Uncharted 4 beta has now officially ended, basically, I just wanted to give you a quick overview as well as a brief review of the whole thing. Well, let's just dive right into it. There are currently 3 maps in the beta, one of which is actually completely new. The other 2 were already in the closed beta that was held a couple of months back. And that one's called Rooftops, and it's really reminiscent of the museum map that could be found in Uncharted 2 as well as Uncharted 3. For those of you who have played those games, you're probably gonna recognize this map. The game's running at 60 frames per second and a resolution of 900p, at least the multiplayer is. The single player is gonna run at 30 frames per second in 1080p, but obviously since this is a multiplayer beta, I haven't played the single player yet. The visuals also look really solid, so from a technical standpoint, there's really not much to complain about here. So since I'm a huge fan of the franchise, I obviously know that Uncharted is a franchise that heavily relies on great visuals, and that's what fans love about the game as well. But the gameplay is obviously also really important, so that's what I'm gonna go into more, and that's what I'm gonna be talking about from now on. So let me start by saying that I've always felt like the Uncharted multiplayer modes were kind of a hidden gem. Not a lot of people love Uncharted, but not as many people have actually paid attention to the multiplayer. Most people actually just focus on the single player and love that, and that's fine. But I feel like the multiplayer really does have a lot of great things to offer, and yeah, always has had a lot of great things to offer, and it still lives up to this day. On the other hand, I always felt like Uncharted 2 and 3 had some really big balancing issues, like for example, you could just walk around and pick up some really strong weapons and just kill everybody. I refused to do that because I felt like a giant douchebag, so I just didn't do it, and I just stuck to my normal weapons. But most people actually used those weapons and just kind of broke the game for me, at least sometimes. That's gone now. That's no longer in the game. No more of these so-called power weapons, what they call them, and you're now gonna have to buy all those perks by using in-game money, which you can spend during which you earn, which you can spend during a match. As I said, this is in-game money, not microtransactions. Naughty Dog has always done a great job of putting things that were in the single-player parts of the game into the multiplayer without making them feel forced or out of place, which is something I always admired about them. For example, you can now use your weird grappling thing that we know is going to be in the single player to, for example, drop on foes and punch them in the face, or just use them to get over cliffs, stuff like that, which is really cool. And of course, just like in Uncharted 2 and Uncharted 3, you can also pull people off ledges and push them off ledges and hang off ledges and shoot people in the face, which is really cool and a ton of fun. So gameplay wise, Uncharted 4's multiplayer basically feels like an upgraded version of Uncharted 2's and 3's multiplayer modes, which is not a bad thing, which is actually a pretty great thing. But yeah, the climbing and shooting formula you found in previous Uncharted multiplayer modes is still intact, and it's still a lot of fun. Apart from that, there's just a lot of cool customization options in the game, I mean, you can basically play dress up with Sully and Nate and all your favorite characters. It's kind of weird, but it's also a lot of fun. And there are also a lot of perks you can purchase. You can also like select different sorts of explosives. We're gonna leave cool smoke effects. Yeah, look at those smoke effects. You like those, don't you? Don't you? Don't you? That's the next generation of consoles. Anyways, if I had to give this beta a score, like an actual number, because apparently you have to do that now, I'd give this beta a solid 8.5 out of 10.